The Urantia book tells us that creation is set up on a horizontal plane, and that would be pervaded space, and that unpervaded space or non-pervaded space is the space reservoirs, and they are the equipoise of the horizontal plane, and when these go in opposite directions during space respiration. Anyway, if we were completely outside, out into nothingness and looking inward, we might see creation as something similar to this, enshrouded by the unqualified absolute. Well, let's open up and take a look inside. Now we can see the outer space levels. There's 4 of them, and if we were to journey inward, we would notice, first of all, that now this is the master universe, and as we go in, we go to smaller and smaller outer space levels until we get down to the grand universe. Now the grand universe includes up to the 7 super universes. And then of course we also have the central universe, which is inclusive of paradise, Havona, and the deity presences. So in a nutshell, this is my 3D rendering of creation as explained by the Urantia book. And the book is unbelievably incredible and has answered questions that I didn't even know I had. But I want to run a quick tour, show you what I've done in my CAD space, and show you what I've done as far as drawing this creation-wise, as explained. Let's zoom back out real quick, and we'll cut through all of creation, including the outer space levels, and that might help to give an idea also of just how big all of this is. Now with the outer space levels cut open, we can get a much better idea of the ratios between these items that the book explains. This would be looking upward. You can see into those space reservoirs, and then notice how the outer space levels get gigantic. Now let's zoom back in and take a look at the grand universe again real quick. And this is pretty much it, the grand universe, central universe. Paradise, of course, is in there, and Havona. You can see the dark gravity bodies. Now these dark gravity bodies took a while to figure out what they meant by those, but the outer ones are like a screen, and the inner ones then of course are the ones that they say are tubular and kind of coaxial. Let's open those up and take a look. Now with the section taken out of the dark gravity bodies, we can really get a look at how they're set up. The book explains how the inner ones are set up coaxially, and there's 3 systems. Now these are not actually tubes. My drawing, I'm using those to represent bodies of they're just set up in a tubular kind of a fashion. The outer gravity bodies are like a screen, and they must be what keeps the light from getting out of that area. I don't know, but I'm thinking that the inner dark gravity bodies, I believe they're probably more in control of actual gravity. I don't know, but the outer ones were like a screen, which is pretty cool. So and notice how they go notice how they go up and down and almost to the edges of pervaded space as it grows, as it goes out. We'll take another look here in a second. The Urantia book tells us how there's kind of a quiescent zones of quiet space between the circuits of virtually everything that's in creation, and between the dark gravity bodies is where there's the most unique type of quiescence going on. They say that the area in between these bodies actually kind of moves up and down like a wave, and it's very possible that might be the mechanism for space respiration. Now, don't know, but it seems like that could very well be some kind of pump. Don't know, But anyway, so let's zoom back out a little bit here and do a rotation so we can get a really good look inward, and go on in a little. Rotate back a bit, and so we're kind of lined up with that opening. Now let's go on in to the central universe. Inside of those dark gravity bodies we have Havona. This represents the billion perfect worlds of Havona. Notice there's 7 circuits. And inside of Havona we have the sacred spheres. We have the sacred spheres of the Father, the Son, and the Spirit. Now let's take a better look at this. And you can see that on the outermost is the sacred spheres of the Spirit. And the master spirits reside there. These red units represent the master spirits. And then the next circuit in is the sacred spheres of the Sun. That's where the light comes from, I guess, for Havona, the central universe. The actual light comes from the Sun spheres. And then there's the Father's spheres, the sacred spheres of the Father inside. And you notice this is paradise, of course, in the middle. And I've got kind of a skin over it right now, but I wanted to show you the supreme power directors. They are on peripheral paradise. Now let's get paradise out of the way, or open it up anyway. Now with paradise opened up so we can see better in there, let's go in a little bit closer here and take a look. And you notice in the center there of paradise, now if this were paradise, the center would be, of course, the Father at the center. And let's get this moved up here to where we can line up with that. But now, if the Father were in the center, we still couldn't see him, because the eternal Son shrouds him. And then the eternal Son is shrouded by the Spirit, infinite Spirit. And the infinite Spirit is the only one that we would actually be able to see, I would think, because of the way that's set up. Let's take a look inside. Now, once again, the enshrouding is done in such a way that we will never be able to see actually inside. And so as far as this CAD system goes, if we were to kind of zoom in, let's pan this over and kind of center up, but it might be something like that. The Father is right in the middle of all things, everything, and he's enshrouded by the Son, and the Son is enshrouded by the infinite Spirit. Now, as far as the Trinity goes, yes, they're on the most upper part of paradise. And if we go underneath paradise, nether paradise, you can see that there's those zones. Cover those in a minute. But let's get back up here and notice the regions that are on upper paradise. Now, they tell us that the Trinity is there, of course, and then also that the most holy sphere, they call it, just outside of the infinite Spirit, is where the most holy sphere is, and that's mostly for worship and whatnot. And then you get on out into the Father's mansions. There's 7 of those, and they pretty much encircle paradise. And apparently right now, with all the entities and all of creation, only uses a couple of % of this, which is pretty incredible. But the way I've got it drawn here, there's 7, you notice, concentric rings, and that would represent the Father's mansions, the Holy Land. These areas out here, kind of bubbled out of the last Holy Land area, for me represents those exhibition halls that they tell us about. And gives us information about our Michael sons. So let's rotate this down a little bit, and once again you can see that we have the supreme power directors out there at peripheral paradise, 7 of those. They control the super universe that's on the opposite side of them, but yet they get their control and energy from the master spirit, which is pretty cool. Now, as far as nether paradise goes, they explain, the Urantia book explains that there's these zones right underneath paradise, the bottom, nether paradise, and that in the center they call it the zone of infinity. And the next zone out is an unnamed, unknown zone, a total mystery, I guess. And then we have a zone that has to do with space potential, and then space force and energy, and then the unqualified absolute. So, although I highly doubt that it looks anything like this is just to show kind of the different regions and things, and the book explains it in such a way that I was able to draw this, and it took a long time, took a lot of reading over and over to understand this to that point where I could actually draw it like this. Now, of course, I've turned everything off except the grand universe right now, but you can see the super universes out there, and I think we should go take a look at Orvanton, our super universe. So let's back up a little bit from Paradise and Havona, the central and divine universe, get back outside the dark gravity bodies, and then to the 7 super universe level, the super universe level. So now we'll open up Orvanton. Now we've opened Orvanton, and you notice these red oval areas in there. And remember, please, that these ovals, like these super universes and whatnot, they don't have edges like that. Of course, they're feathered, and the density gets less and less. But I'm doing this to try to give an understanding of the regions mainly that they're talking about. Now, the super universe of Orvanton has 10 major sectors, and we, of course, are in one of those major sectors, and I'm going to turn the others off. Now we can see Splandin, which is the major sector that we're in, and we can also now see the architectural worlds of Orvanton. We can see the capital, which is Uversa. We can see the 7 advanced spiritual training worlds. Let's zoom in a little bit here. And around each one of those advanced spiritual training worlds, there's 70 specialized worlds. I guess they could be class worlds, not sure. But that is our last stop before we head to Havona. But anyway, back to the major sector, Splandin. Let's open that. Now we can see all of the minor sectors that are in a major sector. The book tells us that there's 100 minor sectors in each major sector. Let's window into that, take a look. And of course we're in one of those minor sectors, and the one we're in is called Ensa, but we'll get to that in a minute. So let's get the other minor sectors out of the way. Now we can see the architectural worlds that are part of the Splandin system. We can see the capital, which is U major the 5th. Let's zoom in a little bit. U major the 5th, they call it. And then now this sector here is kind of in the way, but that would be the capital, U major the 5th, and it has 70 super universe intellectual training worlds. So we'll be going there. Now let's open up this minor sector, Ensa. Now with Ensa open, we can see the local universes that are in it. Now they say that a minor sector has 100 local universes. The local universes are products, creations of the Michael sons. If we window in here, we can kind of get an idea. Now once again, remember that these are just regions. They're not actually shaped like that, but these are just to kind of define regions. So let's come back out a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and open up our local universe, which is Nebadon. Now we can see the capital of Ensa, which is U minor the 3rd, and it has 7 worlds around it, which are the higher physical studies of ascendant life worlds, and another one of the areas that we'll be going to. That's cool. We get to go to a lot of places. So let's pan over a little bit and get over to Nebadon and zoom in, or let's window in and check out Nebadon. Now you see all these green ovals in there, and those are representing constellations. Okay, they tell us that there's 100 constellations in a local universe. just as there's 100 local universes in a minor sector and 100 minor sectors in a major sector, but only 10 major sectors in a super universe. But now this is kind of out looking towards paradise. I just wanted to show you that before I actually show you our constellation. Let's remove the others. Now with the other constellations out of the way, we can see ours, which is Norlatiadec, and then we can also see the capital of Nebadon, which is Salvington. And you notice the worlds around Salvington. They are the 10 universities with 7 each class worlds for a total of a lot, 490 I believe it is. But we'll be going through those worlds also. Zoom in a little bit, and that's where we'll be going. So let's go ahead and open up Norlatiadec then. And now we see the 100 systems that are in a constellation. There's 100 of them, and ours is in there amongst those. Let's get those out of the way. With the other local systems out of the way, we can now see the capital of our constellation, Norlatiadec, which is Urantia. And Urantia has 70 worlds around it, and they have to do with socializing and cultural training. But we'll be going there after we leave our system, our local system. But first, we need to check our local system. Now with Satania opened up, we can see the capital of it, which is Jerusalem, and around Jerusalem are the transition worlds, and around the transition worlds are of course the mansion worlds. Let's rotate this around where we can get a better view. Let me zoom out a little bit first and do a quick window. I'm going to rotate this so that those areas don't get in our way. So if we bring this around this way, we'll be able to view it a little better. And if you notice, here's those transition worlds, the blue, and the white ones around those are the mansion worlds. So we'll be going to those. And that's the capital of our local system, Satania, Jerusalem. Now before we get to Jerusalem though, we have to live our life out here. Now this is representing our sun, okay? And I have 9 planets around there. You can see there's a lot of planets. There's a lot of systems. I guess there's 1,000 solar systems in a local system. And 1 out of every 10 of the planets is either inhabited or inhabitable. I think that's correct. Now let's go ahead and turn off all these other solar systems, and we'll check out ours, Monmatia. So now we can see Monmatia, our solar system. The Urantia book says it's called Monmatia, and of course that's from their language. Now let's zoom out a little bit and take a quick review. Our solar system, Monmatia. We're in the local system of Satania. Its capital, Jerusalem. And we're in the constellation Norlatiadec. Its capital, Urantia. And we are in the local universe of Nebadon. Its capital is Salvington, which is in the minor sector of Ensa, and its capital is U minor the third. And then we are in the major sector of Splandon, which has its capital U major the fifth. And then we get to the super universe level where we have the capital U Versa. Now that's just 1/7 of the grand universe, but it's incredible. So that's the grand universe. Now if we go ahead and do a little rotation here, we can get it reoriented to where we can see from our vantage point. So once again, we're in this little area here in the big scheme of things. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn those areas off so we can see just the architectural worlds. Now that we can see all of the architectural worlds, let's go ahead and zoom in so that we can once again get to the point, get our vantage point. Gotta find us here. Kind of difficult sometimes. It's a big area in 3D space, but we're slowly getting there, and there we are. So Monmesha, that's our sun. Third planet would be Earth. Now let's go ahead and bring this down a little bit and put our solar system in the middle of our vantage point, and let's back up just a little bit and rotate, and we'll be able to see all of the architectural worlds. Now the vantage point is a little obscured, and that's why we can't see a lot. First of all, we have to look through our galaxy, and then Orvanton, and the other side is where everything kind of is as far as paradise and all that. But let's go ahead and zoom in up in here and see if we can just get a vantage point. Actually, what we need to do is rotate it again a little bit, and we can window in, and that way we can get a little bit of a better perspective on it. And the thing is, the scales are so incredible on this. When we go way out to where we are, we're so tiny. You can see us out in here, and there's Uversa, of course. But we've got the unqualified absolute and the outer space levels turned off. I'm going to window in here into the central universe, and then let's go ahead and turn on the unqualified absolute and the outer space levels. So here again, in its totality, other than being sliced in half, is creation modeled on this CAD system to kind of explain what the book is explaining to us as far as how creation is designed and set up. And it makes sense. It's all designed after a paradise pattern, and it's funny how when you get into the atom you realize that the total of creation is so similar to the simplest, the atom. And once again, then we're zooming out to see the whole unit, the master universe, and once again it is enshrouded by the unqualified absolute. You have the space reservoirs, and you have the 7 super universes. The total is the master universe. The 7 super universes are the grand universe. And the grand universe, as its nucleus, has the central universe, the divine and central universe, where the residency of God is, the Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Spirit. So I hope this helped you understand what the book is trying to explain. If it does help, I'm so glad, because it sure helped me. I see in pictures, I think in pictures, and I've been drawing pictures most of my life, and I've been using computer-aided design and solid modeling for many years. So this is my solid modeling rendition of the Master Universe as explained by the Urantia book, the 5th epical revelation. I hope this helped you. Thank you so much.